One day, the main characters, Yuki and Yuhi, talked happily during school break. Yuhi is Yuki's childhood friend, so she knows everything about Yuki. Even Yuhi wants to take care of Yuki as well as possible, including cutting his hair that is too long. Actually, there is bad gossip about Yuki in this school, but Yuhi doesn't care about that because Yuki is her childhood friend. In Yuki's mind, he was still thinking about the state of another world after Yuki's departure as a hero there. Shortly after, a strange incident occurred, and a magic circle appeared in Yuki's class. Yuki knew that it was summoning magic from another world. Yuki and other students were summoned to another world, and they were on the battlefield between the demon race and humans. Of course, the students were confused by this situation, and they quickly ran away from there. Then Yuki found out that this world was a world he had visited before. The demon troops came to them. Yuki sensed that there was magic energy from the troop. When the students have saved themselves, one of the troops will attack Yuki. Yuhi immediately hugged Yuki because she wanted to protect him. Yuki could still feel his strength again, just like when he was summoned to this world before. Then Yuhi apologized because she suddenly hugged Yuki. Then Yuki immediately held Yuhi's hand and went to a safe place. Not long after, the royal army fought with the demon race again. Yuki, who saw this incident, was very confused. The war between the demon race, humans, and beastmen should have ended. But suddenly, Yuki sensed something from one of the demon race troops that he had not felt for a long time. Not long after, the female knight named Elka Verso came over to the students. She orders them to run and take cover in the rear of the royal army. Elka and the other knights will soon end the war with the demon race today. Then the students were greeted by the king of the kingdom of Destinia. Currently, the demon race is attacking the kingdom, the same as the war that happened 5 years ago. The kingdom of Destinia needs heroes from another world to help the kingdom fight against the demon race. 5 years ago, there was a hero who had stopped this war and created world peace. The kingdom asked the heroes for help once again to overcome the war that was happening now. The kingdom understood that the heroes must be confused by this situation, but the kingdom will help to tell what they want to know later. The kingdom has already prepared a place to live for them. Then the students did not understand that they were in another world. They couldn't fight, but they didn't want to die either, so they decided to accept the king's offer and live there. Then the students immediately headed to their respective rooms. The training day for the students who are now called heroes had started. Their instructor, Grain Armory, will give the men sword training. Meanwhile, Elka will train magic on the girls. The girls haven't been able to cast magic in their first practice, except for Yuhi. She managed to cast fire magic, and was very happy to do it. On the other hand, Yuki didn't need this training because he was a hero before. He was also happy that Yuki had a talent for magic in her imagination. When Yuki wanted to walk around the kingdom, he suddenly met Elka. Yuki was a little surprised because Elka's character had changed a little compared to before. Yuki also called Elka name like a normal friend. Of course, Elka is angry because of Yuki's arrogant behavior, just like the previous hero. Freedom of life, arrogant, selfish, doesn't care about women's feelings, etc. Elka warned Yuki that the world's situation was in dire straits, so Yuki should practice with other friends. If Yuki disobeyed Elka's orders, Elka would be forcibly bringing him to training right now. After hearing that, Yuki was attracted by Elka's words and challenged her to fight for a bit. Yuki suddenly slapped Elka's butt, and Elka immediately realized that Yuki was the previous hero named Suzaki Setsu. Of course, Elka immediately submits to Setsu because she loves him so much, even obsessed with him. Yuki managed to get one wife. Elka has long wanted to meet Setsu, who suddenly disappeared from this world. Elka will do whatever Setsu wants, including being a chair to sit on. Of course, Setsu finally understood that Elka's obedient nature had not changed since the last time they met, but her masochistic nature only got worse. Elka shouldn't have done this. After all, the way Elka remembers Setsu is so weird. Setsu only slapped Elka's butt once, and this made her think about Setsu.
何をしてるんだいグレイ外の時よりもさらにド M っぷりに磨きがかかってやがる報酬いいじゃんわ復讐する喜びを覚えるのは節様に対しての
Then Elka told Grain that Setsu was summoned to this world again. Of course, Grain was surprised, and they immediately told Tia Amulet about Setsu. And Tia says she already realized that when Setsu was in this kingdom. Tia is the scientist in charge of the magic institution. Tia, Elka, and Grain were slightly surprised because Setsu's weight and body shape had changed. But Tia can still recognize Setsu from his magic energy. Then Setsu wants to know how this war can happen again when Setsu is no longer in this world. Setsu's friends also want to know what happened when Setsu suddenly disappeared. This world is called Eclair. When Setsu defeated Toma from the demon race, Setsu suddenly disappeared from this world. Somehow Setsu was reincarnated as a baby in his original world, then grew again into the person he is today. All of Setsu's memories are mixed up from various perspectives. Even his strength as a hero can still be felt by Setsu now. Tia says that she doesn't understand the summoning or reincarnation system that Setsu has been through. It was the will of the god that controlled this world. Because of that, Setsu was accidentally summoned to this world again through summoning magic. Then Setsu asks them about Toma. Tia, Elka, and Grain were his comrades in battle against the demon race in the past. Setsu suspects that Toma also be involved in the war in this era. The curse Setsu feels on one of the demon race troops is a testament to Toma's strength. No one else could use the power of the curse besides him. Then Elka and the others said they didn't know Toma's whereabouts. He also disappeared suddenly, like Setsu. As a result, Setsu's friends couldn't find any information after Toma and Setsu's battle. At first, Setsu's friends think that Setsu and Toma are dead, but now they suspect Toma might also be alive, just like Setsu. Suddenly, the knight called Grain to attend the sudden meeting with the king. Of course, Grain was a little annoyed that his talk with Setsu was interrupted like this, but Grain had to hurry to the meeting room. Elka said that Grain's work should have been done by Setsu, but Setsu suddenly disappeared at that time, and Grain took his place. Setsu says that he would never do such a troublesome job. Then Setsu wants to relax and travel the world after the war. Setsu had never had the chance to do that before.
Toma, お前、何考えてやがる?
In the meeting room, the king decided to make a great war with the demon race. Of course, Grain did not agree with this decision. The king had to wait for news from the messenger sent to the demon race continent back then. But the princess said the demon race had first attacked the human race. The pact or charter of peace and cooperation between the human race and the demon race is useless. It was the advice given by the previous hero. After the hero suddenly disappeared, the gods had already given instructions until now that the human race should rule the whole world. The clue was the presence of heroes from another world again. On the other hand, Yuhi is still practicing magic without anyone accompanying her. She had already managed to master some basic techniques and elements of magic. Suddenly, Yuki approached Yuhi because he had seen Yuhi struggle to train all day. Yuki compliments Yuhi because she has good magic talent. Then Yuhi said her anxiety to Yuki, why should there be a war? Isn't that something that will hurt each other? Even though Yuhi thought that way, at least she could use magic to protect Yuki. After hearing that, Yuki was happy because Yuhi wasn't depressed and could adapt to this world. Then Setsu returns to meet his friends again at the previous place. Grain reports that he managed to buy time for the war on the pretext of hero training. But Grain regretted that he couldn't stop the king's decision to start a great war against the demon race. Then Setsu decides to stop the war once again with his power. He was sure that Toma was still thinking about making all the races live peacefully in this world like before. Then Elka and the others wanted to follow Setsu on an adventure like before. They are willing to become Setsu's bodyguards. But Setsu forbids them because the current situation is very dangerous. So Setsu will go alone to stop this war. Meanwhile, Setsu's friends have to do their job in the kingdom. Setsu also warns them that Toma cannot be declared evil or good in the present era. If the trigger for this war is Toma, the kingdom must be protected by great people like Setsu's friends. The next day, Setsu enlists the help of his friends to retrieve hero equipment from the royal warehouse. Tia uses transparent magic so that the guard doesn't know them. The kingdom doesn't know about Setsu yet, so he should be able to get away from this kingdom as soon as possible. But Elka suddenly attacked the guard there. Of course, her friends were very troubled by Elka's overly brutal behavior. Then they put the guard in the trash bin and immediately went into the royal warehouse. It turned out that Yuhi could see Yuki and his friends there, but she soon went out with her friends for breakfast. After Setsu gets his weapon back, other guards outside accidentally see the fainted guard in the trash bin. Because of that, they thought there was an intruder and ordered other knights to guard the entire kingdom. Then Tia and Grain will buy time so Setsu can escape the kingdom safely. Tia wants Elka to go with Setsu. Elka will only add to the problem if she is with Tia and Grain.
エルカは説についてってね。邪魔だから。ひどい。さっきのがバレたんじゃない？
お前も久しぶりだな。黒丸。
In the afternoon, Setsu and Elka safely made it out of the kingdom. Elka said she and the other friends would buy as much war time as possible. Not long after, Yui came to Yuki because she had followed him. Yui is curious, where do you go? I want to go with you. Then Yuki calmed Yui first. Yuki tells Yui that he has been summoned to this world twice, so Yuki already knows what the current situation is. Yuki must meet some of his friends again to stop this war. Yui still wants to go with Yuki. She even wants to be with Yuki forever. Yui promises to be a useful girl by his side, but Yuki forbids Yui. Then Yuki acted cool and said he didn't want Yui to be in a dangerous situation. After hearing that, Yui felt sad that she had to part with Yuki, but at least she wanted to do something with Yuki so he could remember about Yui. Yui hugged him, telling Yuki to close his eyes, and something like this happened. Yuki thought Yui would kiss him, but it turns out that Yui just cut his hair like Yui promised. Yuki is happy because Yui can master her own magic techniques better. Then Yui promised to be stronger than now. In Yui's mind, she actually really loves Yuki. By the way, Yuki managed to get 2 wives.
次会った時避けられるようになってたら合格な。